The era of instant replay in sports has definite pros and cons. We get more things right, but there is a cost because it does kill the spontaneity of the moment of competition. And too often a big moment is watered down because we're waiting to see if the call is going to stand. I think it's a risk that most of us can live with in basketball and football, but it turned out to be a nightmare for horse racing over the weekend in the Kentucky Derby. You appeared to have a wire-to-wire win for Maximum Security, but then after a 22-minute delay, another horse, Country House, was awarded the victory. The race stewards decided Maximum Security impeded the path of other horses, and the Derby's supposed to be the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, not the most exciting 24 minutes. Even if it was right, it was confusing in the post-race and an anticlimactic conclusion. We had never seen anything like this before. Nothing has ever come close to this at Churchill Downs. But unfortunately, the ruling doesn't seem out of place in today's replay-heavy sports world. And as I'm watching the race, at the end of the race, and then I went to go do something else, and then I came back because I wanted to see the post-race coverage, and I went, wait a minute. Wait, what happened? And then you have these people who are staring at the crowd is looking. They're like, wait, did I win? Did I not win? And then the stewards were checking everything out. And then I turned up the sound. I went, oh, wow. And then they started to show the turn. They showed the replay. And then you could see where Maximum Security had moved over. And they decided that they were going to DQ him. And I went, wow. I didn't even know that there was replay in horse racing. I know that I guess you could monitor things, but, how many times are we watching these races to even know? We watch horse racing 3 times a year, maybe 4 times the Breeders' Cup. But aside from that, you're going, okay, there's replay. And then when they showed the replay, and I said, okay, by the letter of the law, they got the rule right. But the only thing I wondered was that, this decision, like, where was the inquiry? It took a long time for all of this to fall into place here. And the other thing I thought, do they give you a little wiggle room because of the conditions of the track?
Ooh.
That's the first thing I thought of. You're having these horses run on a sloppy track. That's not normal. And did the horse drift? Did he impede? Yes, he did. But given the conditions of the track, is that factored in at all? I don't know if you guys, I know that the rule was correct, in how they enforced it. I just didn't know if there was any wiggle room that you would say, okay, the track is not perfect. And, maybe there was the explanation coming around the far turn. Yeah, Paul.
A couple of things that stood out to me. Before the ruling came down, the owner of, is it Country House? Yeah, Country House was being interviewed before the ruling came down, but while the inquiry was going on. And they're like, what do you think? He goes, well, if this were like a midweek race at a horse track, it would be automatic. This horse would be taken down, DQ'd. He goes, so why would it be different at the Kentucky Derby? So you wouldn't suspend the rules because it's a bigger stage. His point was you would enforce the rules because it's a bigger stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, they're not going to do it. They're not going to change the Kentucky Derby. You hear people talking, the announcers. But he's the owner of Country House said it. And I saw the owner of Maximum Security was on the Today Show. They didn't ask him the question, if you were on the other side of this, how would you want it to have been ruled? Because it'd be interesting that the horse that got screwed, or the owner that got screwed in theory, what would he do if it was the other way around?
This is Gary West, the owner of Maximum Security, earlier today on whether his horse is going to race in the Preakness.
Are we going to see a rematch? Are you going to run in the Preakness?
No, we're not going to run in the Preakness.
Why not?
I think there's no Triple Crown on the line for us, and there's no reason to run a horse back in 2 weeks when you don't have to.
That's Gary West. He's the owner of Maximum Security. He's taking his horse and going home. I like how people want this to be a revenge race. I don't think the horse knows. I mean, this just in, I don't know if the horse is going, I want a piece of you, buddy. That was the best horse on the track. Did impeding these other horses factor in with him going wire to wire? And we could make an argument it probably didn't. But by the letter of the rule book, they DQ'd him. Yes, McLovin.
Okay, there are all these horse racing experts are going on. If it was so obvious, how come nobody on the broadcast said a thing? And how come the stewards clearly had no idea and didn't put up the inquiry post? It was not that obvious.
It wasn't. Absolutely. But if you are going to file a claim here, if you're going to say that this is what's happening, I mean, the jockey's the one who filed the claim, and he's in the midst of it. And if you see that these jockeys, when they stood up, and I'm no horse racing expert, but they stand up because they're getting bunched in, and you could have had a disaster there with that many horses in those conditions.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.